The summer of 1976 in New York City was already tense, but no one could have imagined the fear that was about to take hold of the city. It began quietly with what seemed like random acts of violence. Late at night in parked cars or on dimly lit streets, young couples were being targeted. At first, the connection between the attacks wasn't clear, but as the incidents continued, a pattern slowly began to emerge, and with it, a growing sense of panic. The killer would strike without warning, approaching victims who were often sitting in cars, talking, or simply enjoying a quiet moment. Then, in seconds, gunfire would shatter the silence. The weapon most commonly used was a .44 caliber revolver, which would later become one of the key identifiers of the killer. Survivors describe a shadowy figure who approached quickly and disappeared just as fast, leaving behind chaos, fear, and unanswered questions. As the attacks continued, the media began to take notice. Newspapers started reporting on what they believed was a serial attacker targeting young women with long dark hair. This detail caused widespread fear, leading many women to change their appearance, cutting or dyeing their hair in hopes of avoiding becoming a target. The city, already dealing with economic struggles and rising crime, was now gripped by a new kind of terror, one that felt unpredictable and deeply personal. The situation escalated when letters began arriving at police departments and newspapers. These letters were chilling, written in a tone that was both mocking and threatening. The writer referred to himself as the Son of Sam, a name that would soon become infamous across the country. In the letters, he taunted the police, hinted at future attacks, and described his actions in disturbing detail. He also spoke about a figure named Sam, whom he claimed was influencing or commanding him, adding a layer of mystery and psychological complexity to the case. Law enforcement agencies were under immense pressure to catch the killer. Task forces were formed, and countless leads were investigated. Witness descriptions varied, and the lack of consistent evidence made the investigation extremely difficult. Meanwhile, the killer seemed to grow more confident, continuing his attacks and maintaining communication with the media. One of the most significant breaks in the case came after a shooting in July 1977. A witness reported seeing a suspicious man in the area before the attack. Around the same time, police began investigating parking violations issued near the crime scene. This seemingly minor detail would prove to be crucial. One of the tickets was linked to a car registered to a man named David Berkowitz. When investigators looked into Berkowitz, they found that he lived in Yonkers, just outside New York City. Surveillance was set up, and evidence began to build. His behavior raised suspicion, and connections between him and the crime scenes became harder to ignore. Eventually, on August 10, 1977, police approached Berkowitz near his vehicle. Inside, they found a .44 caliber revolver, the same type of weapon used in the shootings. Berkowitz was arrested without resistance. During questioning, he quickly confessed the murders. His confession shocked many, not just because of its detail, but because of the explanations he offered. He claimed that he was being commanded to kill by a demon that spoke through his neighbor's dog. According to him, this entity demanded blood and would not let him rest until he carried out the killings. The story was bizarre and unsettling, raising immediate questions about his mental state. Was he truly experiencing delusions, or was this an attempt to avoid responsibility for his actions? Psychiatrists and investigators debated this extensively. Some believe he was mentally unstable, while others argue that he was fully aware of what he was doing. During the trial, Berkowitz eventually changed parts of his story. He admitted that the claims about the demon and the dog were fabricated. This revelation complicated the narrative even further, suggesting that he may have used the story to manipulate public perception or create confusion. In the end, he pleaded guilty to multiple counts of murder and was sentenced to several consecutive life sentences, ensuring that he would spend the rest of his life in prison. The impact of the case on New York City was profound. For over a year, fear had shaped daily life. People avoided going out at night, public places felt less safe, and trust among strangers began to erode. The idea that someone could attack without warning, seemingly at random, left a lasting mark on the city's collective memory. The media played a significant role in shaping the narrative of the case. The name Son of Sam became a symbol of terror, repeated in headlines and broadcasts. The letters sent by the killer were published and analyzed, turning the case into a national obsession.